Hi, good morning. This is Mrs. Sprague, and today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. And for many of us, this is our third day off, and many of you have been stuck in and around your house for 5 days. And I've been thinking about what I wanted to do for my first video lesson. And there's just so many great science websites out there, so many resources. You guys have access to so many great things. It's hard to compete with what the web has to offer you. Not to mention all the cool science demo stuff that I have is back in my classroom. And I'm sure you are all hoping I do a video and blow something up, but not today, kids. Well, you're all probably focusing on your math, your reading, writing, hopefully science. You probably haven't given much thought to our second step lessons. And we've been working all year on social emotional learning and skill building. And now that we're not in school, those lessons have stopped too. So today, you're going to be getting a second step lesson from me, your science teacher. And our lesson today is going to be a review on perspectives. And for those kids in my 6th and 7th grade classes at Meridian Junior High, you will have a journal question, an echo after this video. So last time we met for a second step lesson, we were talking about recognizing and working through really serious conflicts. And these are conflicts that cause emotional and physical harm and require an adult to get involved. And I sincerely hope that you have not had to deal with any of those since school has been out. However, I would bet that since you've been stuck in the house for days with other family members, especially siblings, that you've had your share of small disagreements and arguments. And I can attest that that has occurred here at the Sprague house as well. Heck, you might even hear an argument in the background while I'm recording. So do you remember when we talked about perspective? Recognizing someone else's point of view. It can help us to understand how and why some people react the way they do in certain situations, like arguments. Our emotions can make us do some pretty weird things, and understanding our own emotions can help us deal with conflict better too. One emotion, such as fear, might be something you've experienced in the last couple of days. And believe me, fear can make everyone, even adults, do some pretty crazy and unreasonable things. So today's lesson on perspective is going to be based on one of my favorite Dr. Seuss stories. It's actually found, excuse me, it's found at the end of the Sneetches book. So I'm not actually reading you the Sneetches today. I'm reading you the story that's at the end. And the name of the story is What Was I Scared Of? And while you listen to the story today, try and figure out the perspective of each of the characters in the story. We'll call the characters the little yellow guy and the empty green pants. And for those of you who've read this story, you know what I'm talking about. So ask yourself, why does each character act the way they do? What conflicts occurred in the story that could have been avoided by simply understanding the other character's point of view? Can you identify the emotion that each character in the story is experiencing? And these will be some questions for your journal. So for now, sit back and enjoy this classic Dr. Seuss tale. What was I scared of? Well, I was walking in the night, and I saw nothing scary, for I have never been afraid of anything. Not very. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved, those empty pants. They kind of started jumping. And then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast. As fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that, I did not care for. No, sir. After that, a week went by. Then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach, and I was starting back through town when those pants raced around a corner. They almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride 'em, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside 'em. And the next night, I was fishing for doubt trout on River River when those pants came rowing toward me. Well, I started into shiver, and by now I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rowed away and lost my hook and line and bait too. I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my britches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night. The next night too. I'd be there still, no doubt. But I had to do an errand, so the next night I went out. I had to do an errand, had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with no one inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I'll bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place, those spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help, I screamed, I shrieked, I howled, I yelled, I cried, oh, save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. I put my arm around their waist and sat right down beside them. I calmed them down, poor empty pants, with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I. We never shake or tremble. We both smile, and we say, hi. So the little yellow guy has a habit of doing some errands at night. What emotion is he feeling for most of the story? And what are some of the bad things that happened to him that could have been avoided by simply seeing things from the empty pants perspective? Let's see, he lost his fishing gear, he lost his spinach, he ended up with brickles in his britches. Not good. Now, why were the green pants following everywhere? From the yellow guy's perspective, the green pants were out to get him. And they probably weren't. What were the pants feeling? And what was the green pants' perspective on the situation? So take a minute, think about the lessons in the story that you learned or can relate to what you've learned about conflicts and emotions and perspectives, and think about yourself. Could you take the time to see something from someone else's point of view next time you feel an argument brewing, or the next time you feel fear or afraid of something? Could you reflect on your own emotions before you let them get the better of you? Remember our second step lesson on emotions too. Your emotions don't control you. So if you're feeling out of sorts during this time off, during this time of great emotion, remember the skills that we've been teaching you this year in second step. And if you're feeling like you need to talk to someone about this, your teachers are here for you. You can drop us an email, a text and remind, or contact us through Echo if you're a Meridian Junior High student. So bye for now. Feel free to drop me a comment below on my YouTube channel and let me know if there's other topics you'd like to see. And to my students, don't forget to go see the Day 3 Journal and Echo all about today's lesson from Second Step and the story.